So in terms of monetization, I have seen people arguing that the game should be free to play. I have seen a lot of people arguing that the game should be paid, and I certainly agree that a paid game would probably be better because the game wouldn't have to pay off cosmetic items or anything like that. Because see, with a game like Minecraft, we had a lot of freedom in terms of what we could do in terms of skins, because we could literally upload our own skins completely custom and did not have to pay for anything like that. Now of course the downside of that is that development of Minecraft has kind of stagnated in the past, because I guess the actual money they are making from the Java edition is not that much. Now with Hytale it's almost clear that the game will be some kind of game as a service. I don't think they will just throw the game out and let the game be at the state that it's in at that point, so we can't just say make the game cost like $30, $20, whatever, and just put it out there. Because I think that's a huge opportunity missed for the game developers, and that's a huge opportunity missed for us as players. Because Hytale in terms of development will probably last for about maybe 1 or 2 years, and then the development will probably stop. Depending on how popular it will come, of course, but I think the game will probably be supported for maybe 1-2 years, and then it would just die off, and maybe keep a core player base, or maybe develop a huge server site where the community is developing a lot of stuff. So I think in terms of pure monetization, just having the game cost $20 as a retail price and then nothing beyond that, it's probably very unrealistic. So I have seen a lot of people think in only those black and white terms, in terms of having the game pay a retail price and then having the game free to play as a whole. So let's take the free to play option, and I think the free to play is pretty awful when you think about it, because when you take the current model of free to play, which is make the game free to play and do all the game changing content, put that out there for free. But have all the cosmetics that are associated with multiplayer, or probably even single player cosmetics, and monetize the fuck out of them. We're talking $20 for a single skin, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. But still seems to be a pretty common practice in games like Apex Legends, which is pretty popular, or I think Fortnite is a little bit cheaper, but $20 for let's say just a decent skin, a legendary skin, or maybe a elite skin, if you think about Rainbow Six, is a pretty common price. Now, what really bugs me about this is that it would probably cut off a lot of things in terms of moddability of Hytale. Because as soon as you pack in something restricting the access you have to certain skins, you'd have to put in certain barriers that somebody can't just create a mod where he copies all the skins over and stuff like that. So you would create a huge barrier in terms of moddability and stuff like that. And so I think in the end you would just end up with a huge mess of the game not allowing certain cosmetic skins, and maybe there being an approval phase for handing in a mod for the store, and not supporting mods from local sources, only from online sources, and I don't know. A lot of crap you could put in there just to avoid people copying your official skins, or reskins, or map packs, or whatever. Doesn't really matter, but I think charging people money for cosmetics that you can use in multiplayer, I think is also a pretty horrible idea, although I think it would work out pretty damn well in terms of getting actual money off of it. But I'd hate to see that, because I want to be able to create my own skin and stuff like that. So yeah, I think having cosmetics just in the game I think it's a pretty horrible idea. So with the black and white having out of the way, so having the game sold at a retail price and having the game being completely free, let's talk about the more gray area stuff. Okay, that sounds so sounds so horrible. But let's say the game was being sold at a retail price of maybe around $10, $20. And then instead of having cosmetics feature the longevity of the game, let's just say that the cosmetics are server specific. So let's say if you want your server to be on the server list, on the in-game server list, you have to comply with certain Hytale guidance or rules. And one of them is that a certain percentage of all the revenue you make with your server in terms of in-game sales will have to go to the Hytale developer team. And I think that would be the perfect option for having the game be profitable for a long time. Because of course, as a developer, you want your game to be on this in-game server list. If a game has an in-game, or like if a game has a quality in-game server list, I mean, Minecraft doesn't, so there are tons of external server lists out there. But if there's an in-game server list out there, you want your server to be on there. Otherwise, your server will just die a commercial death. So if you wanted to create a Minecraft server that is like in the typical realm of like Minecraft servers, like let's say Hypixel, I don't know, whatever, doesn't really matter. But if you want your server to be accessible by the public, and you would have to comply with the Hytale guidelines and give maybe price cut of, I don't know, 10-15% of all in-game sales. Give that to the Hytale developers. And that way you would not have to restrict the game in any ways. You could have the game be completely open, allow any kinds of modifications. Like in terms of like single player or setting up your own server. You could just set up your own server without having to maybe sign an NDA so that you don't redistribute the server files, or I don't know, whatever. And I think with this method, I think Hytale could even be completely free-to-play. I don't know if I would, as the Hytale developer, actually would make Hytale free-to-play. But I'd maybe like start off Hytale within early access phase where the game costs money to see how well the game does. And if this game does well and the servers get populated, it might even be better to just make the game free-to-play. Let all the players in, and yeah, time has shown that free-to-play can be very successful if you monetize it right. And so yeah, I think that would be probably the best option to like monetize it right. In terms of like other ways to monetize it, there are a few other ones I would have in mind. Because like one of the biggest things that actually pisses me off about modern games is that you can spend so much money in those games. And I don't know if you've ever heard about the term whale in terms of like money spending in games. But it basically is the concept of a single person spending a horrendous amount of money in one game on cosmetics, or like mostly like microtransactions. Doesn't have to be cosmetics, of course. It can also be like pay to win, or I don't know, whatever. Just have to be like a huge amount of money. We're talking about like 500 to 2,000 to open end 10,000, whatever. It has to be a huge amount of money that they spent on the in-game amount. And modern games are more and more aiming towards those whales paying off the development, or like paying the game. And this is especially apparent on mobile games. One of the examples would be probably like game like Raid Shadow Legends. I don't know if you've heard of that, probably. But yeah, these mobile games are a perfect example of developers trying to sell as little game as possible for as much money as they can. And ironically, one of the games that I respect the most in terms of like monetization is Star Wars Battlefront 2. And reason being is that they now sell a cosmetic pass. And that I think is a brilliant option. So the cosmetic pass includes all the cosmetics they released so far, which is I think since 2017. So like around 2 years worth of cosmetics, a little bit more. No, probably a little bit less because the cosmetics came in a little bit later. But yeah, a lot of time in terms of cosmetics. And they sell it for a very reasonable price. I think it's around 20 to 25 US dollars. And I just bought that pass because I thought it was such a great price. Like especially when you see games like Apex Legends selling one skin for $20 up, and selling single loot boxes for $1 each. I know this all has turned kind of in a rant about modern games and their monetization, but what I'm trying to do is like give a warning about people crying out for free-to-play, or like, let's not say crying out, but trying to make an appeal for a free-to-play monetization type in Hytale. Yeah, because I guess the main argument which are people saying that are for free-to-play is that you don't have to buy the stuff. And I mean, of course, you don't have to buy all the cosmetics. But the problem is that the people that do end up buying their stuff often end up spending so much money on it. It's actually pretty crazy. So let's just round up this whole video. And so my ideal idea for monetization of Hytale would charge a small or like mediocre retail price for Hytale of around, let's say 10, 15, maybe 20 bucks as a price, as a retail price in Hytale. And then with your in-game server list, if you want to appear on this in-game server list, you have to give a cut of your in-game sales to Hytale. And then with the rest of the game, if you don't want to appear on this list, you're free to do whatever you want. But yeah, this would be like the main thing that I would have to say about monetization. Just don't do anything stupid about the game, like loot boxes, expensive skins, or like a huge amount of skins that altogether cost a huge amount of money. Yeah, I want to be able to like get the game and get everything in the game for a reasonable price, and I'd be willing to pay around, let's say maybe around $50 per year to get everything in the game. But yeah, I mean, it's probably not about everyone, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. So yeah, I don't know if you have something to add to this, or maybe you have a different opinion. Although I don't think there's any realistic appeal for a free-to-play game. Let me know that in the comments below, and also let me know in the comments below what you think about this style of the video. Like usually when I tried making my videos, I put a lot more time into recording each sentence perfect, which in and of itself took me a lot of time just recording the stuff. What I've done now is just make everything a little bit more casual, so I can actually like put out videos. Yeah, because I've been inactive for, I don't know, maybe half a year, probably more. Yeah, if I keep making this style, I can probably push out a lot more videos, or like actually put out videos. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you like that more. Maybe I'll make a lot more videos then. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.